We're gonna search outbuildings, trailers, everything.
Okay, no, we have the guns because those kids are here.
Okay, just shut up.
Am I really gonna get arrested right now?
You know how long it's gonna take? I have plans.
What type of audiobooks?
Why'd they blur her there? They blur her because she's wearing a
On the morning of March 12th,
What did he
2022.
I have plans.
What type of audiobooks do we listen to?
The serial killer ones.
The serial killer ones?
On the morning of March 12th, 2022, 18-year-old Naomi
What does that mean,
Irian
the serial
suddenly
killer
vanished
ones?
from a Walmart parking lot in Fernley, Nevada, after a strange man pacing around the corner got into her car and drove away with her. With only a hazy CCTV video to rely on, investigators race against time to try and identify the mystery man. When they do, nothing can prepare them for the truth behind Naomi's sudden disappearance. This is the exact moment Zulema Silas realized that the truth about what really happened to the missing Naomi Irian had been uncovered. The following footage has never been seen before.
Do you need a minute?
There's some Kleenexes right there for you.
This is long.
I am sorry. It is really difficult to be hearing all the stuff that they're saying about you, everything that I am remembering about you.
Put your hands behind your back.
Oh, come on, I can't. I've got wrecked shoulders.
As best you can.
On the morning of March 13th, 2022, the Lyon County Sheriff's Office receives a distressing call from Casey Valley. He informs them that his 18-year-old sister, Naomi Irian, hasn't returned home since she headed to work the day before. He explains that he tried calling her multiple times but couldn't get through. He also checked and there's been no activity on her bank account. In an exclusive interview with EWU, Casey Valley explains the incident.
And so
what?
she would typically show up at the Walmart parking lot here in Fernley at about 5 in the morning. The bus picked up around 5:15, between 5:15 and 5:20, I believe. She would sit there for 10, 15 minutes, whatever it was. And she would just scroll on her phone for a little while. And as far as I know, at that point, she went to work.
Casey went to bed before he saw if Naomi came home that Saturday night, which was typical for them.
So the next day I wake up at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. She's not home, which is not unusual, right? Because she works so early. It did seem kind of weird to me because, yeah, I didn't really see a whole lot of evidence that she had been home that day, but that wasn't really super unusual either. I started reaching out to her at that point, but I wasn't hearing anything back.
After not hearing from Naomi all day, Casey decided to wait up on Sunday for her to come home again. But when she didn't, he called his mom and Naomi's friends, hoping some had heard from her. No one had heard from her since before Friday.
And so I called the police and I attempt to make a missing persons report. The dispatcher said that the deputy was going to come to my house and take the report in person. Rather than that happening, the deputy calls me 2 hours later. He calls me at about 11:30 at night. And I tell him what's going on. And he's like, listen, I'm not going to put out a missing persons report on this. 18-year-olds. She's 18. She can do what she wants. You don't have really any evidence to show that anything happened, blah, blah, blah. I was like, well, this isn't normal for her because if she didn't come home today, then she probably wasn't even at work today. I don't know what happened. And she's not answering any of her friends or anything like that. And all of her Snapchats from everybody.
That's illegal for the dude to not make the report. Like, they have to make the report. He should have pushed and pushed and pushed because that's not legal.
We use Snapchat a lot. All of our Snapchats from everybody were, not delivered and stuff like that. So it just seemed.
Well, they'll report her as a missing person in that time.
Yes. Now
Is a different matter.
And this deputy refused to make a missing persons report.
Stunned and disheartened by the complete absence of assistance from the authorities, Casey takes it upon himself to find his younger sister.
Hi. Are you bullying Teddy? Are you bullying Teddy? He's so little. My guy, he's so little. Look at him. You can't bully him. No. No. You can't bully the baby. He's just a baby. He's just a baby. No. Anyways,
There's
in
a
the
cute ass
story, I have a
dog.
100-pound pit bull sitting on my lap and this thing licking my arm for some reason. And he's eating his own ass.
The deputy kind of got in my head a little bit, kind of gaslit me a bit about, she's probably fine, blah, 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 all this stuff. My girlfriend at the time, Nikki, she and I were talking, and she had the idea of, well, we should just go to Walmart and see if they'll let us look at the security footage and just see if she even showed up to work on Saturday. So that's what we did. She and I went over there. We tracked down the security people who were following shoplifters out in the store and told them what the situation was, and they were pretty sympathetic. So they brought us into their little security shack. It took us like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours to just find the right footage, the right angle where she normally parked.
What he sees in this surveillance footage from Walmart makes his blood run cold. Casey knew where Naomi parked because he often saw her car in the same spot whenever he would go to Walmart.
Video quality wasn't great, but I could recognize her car. She was driving a 1992 Mercury Sable. There's not a whole lot of those left on the road these days, but it's pretty distinctive even in a grainy video. I was like, and the time matched up with when I thought that she would be showing up, and I saw the car pull in there. And we're watching this at like 4 or 5x speed. So we watched the car pull in. I was like, oh, that's her car, almost for sure. And before we get the video stopped in order to slow it down, the car leaves again. And I'm like, what the heck?
He's got a nice
At
beard.
5:09 a.m. on March 12, 2022,
And how long it takes him to grow it.
Naomi pulls over in the Walmart parking lot and waits inside her car. A few moments later, a strange man appears on the other side of the lot. He stares at her car for a few minutes. Soon he begins to walk towards the vehicle and reaches the driver's side. Almost in an instant, he slips into the driver's seat and drives out of the parking lot. Disturbingly, Naomi doesn't get out of the vehicle at any point in the footage. Utterly consumed by panic,
I just have to say, if it's this late, right? This is supposed to be a Walmart parking lot. This looks like a small parking lot, or at least it's the small side of the parking lot. I get that she's an employee and she can't park like over here. But I'm sorry, if I have to go to work this late or this early and it's still dark and I was a woman, I would park near the light. Just cause it's just safer, you know. That dude came out from a pretty.
Casey immediately
came out
calls
from
the
here.
sheriff's office once again and informs them about the surveillance footage.
She would have seen him.
At that point, I called.
She probably saw him at one point, but just didn't pay attention.
Potential evidence of kidnapping of my sister, and they send the same deputy that I talked to the night before on the phone, and he shows up about 20 minutes later. And at
Right,
this point,
it's
we
morning
have,
shift.
some more video.
It looked like he came out of the
identified, and we
store
have,
too.
video of the guy standing there looking out from the sidewalk and circling around and going into her car. The police officer sits there and looks at it, and he says, I don't know, this looks like a drug deal to me. I was like, my sister did not do drugs, and he was just trying to cover his own
Into the
ass, right?
driver's side
Because he
seat.
didn't take my report the night before. Basically, he tells me, well,
That's
I'm
not a
not
drug
going to
deal.
file a missing persons report right now still, but we'll put out a bolo and be on the lookout for her car. I was like, okay, I'm not really happy with that, but if that's what you're going to do, that's what you're going to do.
Despite finding compelling evidence that proves his sister is in grave danger, Casey's repeated pleas for help are not taken seriously, leaving him in absolute despair and isolation.
Why did he not
Basically,
complain for another
I
officer?
felt so alone, I felt so isolated. I felt like kind of betrayed by the sheriff's department. I felt very scared about what happened to my sister, and I just really couldn't process what was going
Yeah,
on at
Oof is
all.
right, dude. They fumbled that.
On the other hand, Naomi's and Casey's parents, who were in Africa at the time, struggled to cope with the news. In an exclusive interview with Iwu, Naomi's mother, Diana Arian, shares how they tried their best to help Casey find Naomi.
Early Monday morning, before even it was light, my husband came upstairs because he was getting ready to go to work. My husband came upstairs in tears and he said that Naomi had been kidnapped. And immediately I was like, what? What are you talking? What? And he said, Casey just called. He saw on a surveillance video someone take Naomi in her car. And then we were holding each other and we were crying and we were asking each other, what do we do? What do we do? Because we're in Africa. We're halfway around the world. And one of my husband's coworkers, one of our friends, is an FBI agent. And my immediate instinct was to call him. So that's what I did. I immediately got on the phone and called
Oh,
our
lucky
friends,
you.
and I was not in a state I couldn't really speak. So I handed the phone to my husband.
Naomi
Did this
and
girl
Casey's
die,
father
though?
went to the U.S.
That's the real
Embassy in
question.
Pretoria, South Africa, where he was working at the time and was able to get an emergency flight to the United States that day. As Casey's father flies into the country, his conversation with the FBI reaps some positive results, as they seem to be taking the case quite seriously.
So the next day, I get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I have like a spotlight, and I'm just driving all the roads out in the desert near Fernley, just looking for any trace of her car. And about 9:30 in the morning, I get a call from Lyon County Sheriff's Department, a detective. He assures me that they're taking the matter very seriously.
Hard to believe.
The missing persons report has been filed at this point, and they have every spare person on the force out looking for my sister's car.
More than
2
fucking
days after
2
Naomi went
days.
missing, the investigators finally take up the case in earnest. They begin with the video Casey found at Walmart. After carefully examining the surveillance footage,
She's most likely
multiple
dead by this
times,
time, statistically.
a triangulation and recreation method is used to determine that the person getting into the car with Naomi is between 6 and 6 feet 3 inches in height. They also identify that the suspect was wearing a pair of blue jeans, a light-colored hooded sweatshirt, and a face mask that morning. However, since he stood on
Wearing
the
a
other side of the
shiesty?
camera, they're unable to see his face or many other details. Naomi's phone number is run through the police database, but there aren't any location pings as it had been turned off. With only one hazy CCTV video footage and a suspect they're unable to identify, the investigators begin by running a thorough background check into Naomi.
There's I think everyone nowadays should get personally I don't have any and it's not smart that I don't, but air tags, Apple Air tags. People don't realize that you have those on you. A lot of the times, you know. And I think that that's something that people should start using. Like, you can put one in your phone, you can put one in your car, you put one at your house, and then that starts triangulation through them. You need 3 different locations for them to work. But I think that those are something that people should start carrying on them
Miriam's life.
constantly.
Casey assists by sharing everything about Naomi and his family. Including Naomi, he has 6 siblings.
Because even if they turn the
who
phone
moved
off,
to the United States only
say
a
you
year
put one in the
ago
case,
after living in sheltered
They like you put one in the case, they turn the phone off. Doesn't matter. You have the air tag going. You know, it's completely different. And the batteries are ridiculous, so they just go and go and go and go and go.
Communities in Russia, Germany, and South Africa as a result of their
Some
father's
sort of weapon.
job with the State
Yeah,
Department.
So she kind of
I
just
agree with
wanted to
that.
come over here and get a feel
But
for
depending on the
what it
situation,
was
we don't know
really
if the dude
like to
had a
be in
gun pulled on her
America
already.
and what it was like to be an adult.
I was gonna like move out, but then my brother was like, "Oh, what if you just pay me then like rent out the rooms in the house and then you can live here?" Ooh. And I'm like, "Oh, that actually sounds pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie." And I would get to stay here. It's a place where I'm comfortable, a neighborhood that I know, easy to get to my work. You know.
So she didn't die?
Pretty good deal. It'll be interesting.
You know, kind of get away from the parents, have a little bit of freedom. And the first thing she did when, before she even really got here, actually, was get a job. And she started working for Panasonic.
To find out more, the investigators dispatched
Cameras?
some officers to mark out her regular work route. They examined the surveillance recordings from various stores along the route, hoping to identify any peculiar incidents. Although they observed no apparent
You
suspicious
take the
behavior,
chance of getting
they
shot.
make a significant
Yeah,
discovery while reviewing the
that's the thing is, statistically, they say it's dangerous when people have guns, but there's situations and not like a lot of people aren't willing to actually use the guns. You know, they're just showing a gun to someone a lot of the time is enough to get them to be afraid enough to do what you want them to do or whatnot. Which is why a lot of people have guns or like they pretend they have a weapon because some people are, you know, oh, he might have a gun. Yeah, he might have a gun. He might not though.
footage from a gas station where Naomi had stopped by.
But yeah,
to purchase
I'd
snacks on her
rather
way to work.
I think I'd rather
In the
get
footage,
shot in the
she's seen
moment
wearing
in
a
front
gray
of a
sweater
populated
paired with
area
a blue Panasonic t-shirt and gray joggers.
than take the chance
The
of getting
officers
kidnapped.
take a screenshot of Naomi from the store and submit it to the investigators.
She should have
This
just
picture
started laying
potentially
into her
marks the
horn.
last time she was seen before the kidnapping. The
Because what's the
investigators
dude gonna
released
do?
Naomi's
Shoot her?
details with the picture to the media
Most likely
and
he'll just run
requested
away.
everyone
There's
to
no
be on
point
the
to
lookout
shoot her
for
if
the
he want.
missing 18-year-old.
You know, if he's trying to commit a crime, a specific kind of crime, which we all probably know the kind of crime that he's doing, so it's probably not just a murder, but like you have a built-in rape whistle on your car. You just fucking lay into that shit.
As word of Naomi's kidnapping spreads, Casey sets up several search
Always
parties
keep
to
your
help
doors
find
locked,
her,
even if you're
and the
chilling in your
community
car.
Burnley steps up to assist the family.
The ladies in the local area in my son's neighborhood established a meal train. So we had meals made for us. So our job was to find her. And that was our full-time job. And my husband was out there with the FBI every day. And my son was out there searching the desert every day. You know, we didn't stop.
Despite releasing Naomi's
So they had
picture and
resources, is what
details,
they're
the
saying.
investigators failed to discover any substantial leads. That is, until they combed through the devices she used.
Oh, a Razer laptop?
Here they find the first hint of a lead.
So she played games.
Naomi went on a date with an unknown man a day before she vanished. Naomi had told Casey that she'd visited a thrift store with the man and everything seemed normal. But maybe it hadn't been as innocuous as she thought. Investigators also find out that Naomi had previously complained about being harassed at work. Managers from Naomi's workplace state that they knew about her allegations and had resolved the matter internally. Eventually, it's concluded that this line of inquiry is another dead end. It's around this point that the Lyon County detectives drop a bombshell.
Have you approached it at all?
Solar power.
So I went up to it just to make sure nobody was in it, and that's it.
All right. Did you see any shoe impressions?
No, so I did walk around it just to look at all angles, make sure nobody was in, like tucked in or anything. But I was like just driving all over looking for it, and as I was getting off here, I saw it sitting there.
They'd found Naomi's car abandoned in a dirt lot near a paint manufacturing company, just half a mile away from the place of her kidnapping. While this was a huge discovery, there was still no sign of Naomi
Just clicked on it,
or her
chatters.
abductor. Still,
name, and it
hope
told me
is
their
not lost,
profile
as
was
the area
created
where
on
Naomi's
September
car was
11th.
found had several stores with CCTV. The detectives request surveillance footage from all nearby businesses and begin to review hours of footage from the day of
Peculiar
Naomi's
day to make a
kidnapping.
Twitch account.
They soon find that some of the surveillance had actually captured a spine-chilling incident from the afternoon following Naomi's kidnapping.
For the odds of
Naomi's
that.
car can be seen on the road nearby and later parked in the dirt lot at 3:30 p.m., 10 hours after her kidnapping.
So they put
An
the
unknown suspect gets out of
vehicle
Naomi's car
back
and
at the
walks on
lot
the road.
of her
A short
work.
time later, at 4:12 p.m., a gray bluish truck drives by the same road and parks close to Naomi's car. The driver gets out, goes back to Naomi's car, and shifts it to another spot in the dirt lot. Then the driver leaves the car, gets back in his truck, and drives away. Investigators are still unable to identify the
That's
unknown
weird. Why was he
driver
doing
at
that?
distance. And even more concerning is that they don't see Naomi anywhere in the footage. Perhaps he'd moved her to another location by then. There's also another possibility. Is this man the same person as the one they saw in the morning, or were more people involved? Screenshots of the suspect's truck are released to the media, along with a plea asking the community to keep an eye out. What could be seen in the footage, though, helped to identify the truck as potentially being manufactured by Chevrolet. With little else to
Yeah,
go
that looks
on,
like
the
a Chevy.
investigators visit multiple Chevrolet dealerships
It's
in the
too
area
boxy to be a
learn
Dodge.
more about the vehicle.
Or
Every
a Ford.
Chevrolet dealership identifies the vehicle as a 2020 to 2022
Yeah,
Chevrolet High Country
Silverado.
2500 or 3500 model, with possible color variations in either a metallic blue or metallic gray. The Nevada Department of Motor Vehicles then sent a list of the same make and model of the vehicles that are in western Nevada. Though at first disheartened to see the list contains hundreds of trucks, an analysis team soon eliminate vehicles that don't match the footage. As the list of the trucks grows shorter, the investigators start verifying where the license
Those
plate
are
numbers
popular
are
colors
registered.
too. Gunmetal
One of
gray
these
or
addresses piques
blue.
the
Or
investigating
metallic gray
team's
or blue.
interest. As compared to the other addresses,
Especially
it
in
looks
trucks.
run down, leaving the investigators to wonder how someone from the residence could afford a $60,000 to $80,000 vehicle. They soon find out that the truck is registered to Troy Driver, and a search of his name through police databases reveals a daunting array of information. Troy Driver had a substantial criminal history that dates back to 1994. It started with animal cruelty at age 14
how do you afford an
and turned into a
$80,000 truck?
15-year jail time for assault, burglary, and armed robbery in his later years. He was also a suspect in an assault case out of Elko County in Nevada. Moreover, his height aligned with the potential range of the suspect's height in Naomi's
This
kidnapping
makes me
case.
think of when those fuckers
Based on
burgled
his
my
criminal
grandparents'
history
house
and
in
the
Nevada.
truck, Troy Driver immediately becomes a person of interest in the case.
We caught those fuckers,
He
though.
lives with his girlfriend Zulema Silas and her children, and works at a mining company. Checking his girlfriend's Facebook, they find pictures of Troy,
Dude got
including
hit
one
with
of him
like
wearing
6
a pair
counts of
brown
grand
hiking
larceny.
shoes that look similar to what the suspect wore in the Walmart parking lot footage. With no other leads, investigators strategically place patrol officers near Troy Driver's residence to keep a close watch on him. The next step is acquiring a warrant to inspect Troy's phone
It's impossible to
records
get away
to
with crime.
determine
No,
his
it's not.
location on
That's
the day of Naomi's kidnapping.
so like when you do stuff like this, yeah, it's really hard to get away with crime per se. But if you know the right things to do and you do it properly, you can get away with murder and you won't even be found. You won't even be a suspect. That being said, I'm not saying do murder, don't research stuff. But there's a lot of people nowadays, like I'd say it's more in like bigger cities or areas that have a lot of gang violence and shit, but there's legitimate people that you would consider serial killers that are just gang members, random people on the street, you know? Usually they don't find people that are really dangerous until they have a couple of victims under their belt, you know? But like heat of the moment type crime, like you didn't plan it out well or stuff like that, yeah, you're gonna get caught. You're gonna get caught. unless you're incredibly lucky. And it's like that video we watched the other day of that dude who dressed up as Michael Myers and murdered that homeless dude. He did it in the heat of the moment, didn't plan it out, freaked out, and then got caught because he did stupid shit. When in reality, he even said it in the video. He's like, you guys don't care about vagrants or prostitutes and stuff like that. And he's like telling them the whole plan and stuff. And it's true, they don't. And if he just left it as it was, he probably wouldn't have gotten caught. But he did stupid stuff and got caught. And it's good because he was a killer. And it's good that stupid killers get caught really early because then they don't kill more than one person.
The other for his office, and an astonishing revelation emerges. The location data for
I'm surprised he had friends though too.
He was nowhere near Naomi.
My guess is they just played games online though, from what the video said.
However, undeterred by this,
I would have been worried though. In that video, that chick that he was talking about was their friend, dude. She would have him come over and stuff. If he was willing to kill that homeless person, he would have fucking killed her husband and her at some point. Like, I 100% believe that dude would have, that probably would have been his next thing, or he would have worked his way up to it if he didn't get caught.
Setback, the detectives explore a different angle by reviewing the activities on both devices. Their suspicions are confirmed when the report reveals concerning evidence. Despite the location data suggesting Troy's presence at home, there was a suspicious absence of any activity on either phone. This was inconsistent with how Troy normally uses his phones. All of this was still fairly circumstantial.
So he wasn't using his phone anymore to try to throw them off?
The pressure was on to find Naomi. While the focus was on Troy, another breakthrough emerges from the surveillance footage. The same truck seen near Naomi's car is spotted on the highway, and on the opposite side of the Walmart parking lot on the day of Naomi's abduction.
So she works at Walmart and Panasonic?
Area of the Walmart parking lot at 4:22 a.m. that morning. But this isn't the most chilling part. Not only were they there before Naomi arrived, the person could be seen pacing around as if waiting for something, as if expecting Naomi's arrival. Since investigators already knew where this person had left Naomi's car on the
So they either knew her,
they then established a route from that
or they knew of
Walmart's
her
dirt lot, where the individual
and had been watching her.
Footage showed them walking back to their truck. And not only that, when the suspect strolled from Naomi's vehicle to his truck, he inadvertently passed right in front of the CCTV camera. The sight sent shivers down the spines.
This is why it's good to have lots of cameras everywhere.
It was Troy Driver.
I agree with putting traffic light cameras everywhere.
The investigators take Troy Driver
but for stuff like this, not speeding tickets.
I'll cuff. Just so we don't have to switch. Don't move. Troy Driver?
Yeah.
The plainclothes cop, why is he wearing Vans?
You have anything on you that's going to poke, prod, stab me?
I've got a pocket knife in my front left pocket.
Okay, aside from that?
No.
Okay, I'm going to roll you over on your right side, okay?
Yeah.
All right, put your knee up this way. Whoever's going up to that building, tell them I'll come up with the warrant here shortly. Okay.
What's that other thing in his pocket? Was it a cigarette case?
Let him know one's in custody.
I thought it was his wallet or like a money clip.
Let's roll you over to this side.
Is someone calling you Nick?
Probably.
Try to answer on your phone.
You want to finish searching? Okay. Boss speaking. Hey. We just got him in custody. Yep. Did we get the keys to this vehicle?
I don't have any keys.
You don't have keys to this vehicle?
I do. Somebody took them.
Okay, but you did have them on you?
You had like the 2 bags with you? Where are the keys?
You guys took them.
Well, yeah, but are they in one of those bags or where?
No, they were on my belt clip. You guys took the keys.
Okay. He's pretty calm for having a... Yeah, he asked what it was for. We told him not going to tell him at this time, but you are under blah, blah, blah. And he said, okay, hasn't said much. Yeah, he wasn't asking questions. He was shocked just due to the abruptness of it, but not, not his first rodeo type. Yeah.
So, he got caught because he...
So there's your truck keys, correct? Okay.
Was planning it, and he got caught on camera walking...
To get in the office door?
Walking where he would be doing it.
Take your camera off and go into that truck over there a minute ago.
And 2,
I didn't take my camera off.
he used his own car. So, something that we've seen in the cases where serial killers do is they always steal someone else's car before they do their stuff, so it can't be tracked back to them. And then, if they don't get caught from the car, they get caught from the video cameras, like they just shown, like being near the scene of the crime.
On the top of the hood right here when you went over into that truck.
Yeah, he knows exactly what they're here for.
I couldn't fit with my gear.
Is he surprised?
I mean, I think element and surprise, but not overall. He's very calm demeanor. All right, due to the long drive, we're going to get you out real quick. We're going to set you into 2 cuffs, okay? So I'll separate your shoulders a little bit.
Bro is getting ready so he could
After
have the
arresting
defense of,
Troy
oh, they
and
put
bringing
shit
him
in
to the
my
station,
car.
The officers get warrants to search Troy's residence and his mother's, and she's none too happy with this development.
Hello. I'll let you get the dogs locked up, and then we'll have a conversation real quick, please.
Yeah, how do they have an $80,000 truck and they live in a shithole like this? Doggies.
And then this is Detective Horner. He's got a search warrant for your residence. So who else is inside besides you 3 and the other little girl?
That's it.
Just the 4 of you guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
How's it going, guys? Can we come on
All
in,
the money
make
went
sure
to the
there's nobody else in
truck.
here, and then we'll talk to you on the side, and we'll get what we have to get going, okay?
Oh, like, this is a nice little, like, plot of property, you know?
I answered that.
I wonder if this is like a family property, you know? They have no money for the property, so they just all spend their money on, like, cars and stuff.
Do I need to take it off to make you guys not shoot me?
Come over here, please.
Whoa,
Come
bro.
over,
So
Secure it real quick
aggressive.
while we're talking, if you don't mind.
Just leave it.
Put your hands behind your back.
Oh, come on, I can't. I've got wrecked shoulders.
As best you can.
That's it.
Ty, you good with them?
Yeah.
I have a CCW.
We know you have a CCW.
You don't have any weapons on you, do you say? Sir? You have any guns or anything on you?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Rhonda, can we go talk? Where's a good place where we can
He
talk?
flashed his
outside for a
belly.
minute?
The back porch, I guess.
No, let's just. That's fine.
You're gonna try for our house like you did the other
No,
one?
Okay, can
Come on over here.
copy of the search warrant,
As soon as we get somewhere, we're gonna have you sit here and look at it. Actually, let's just go over here by this trailer.
I've got really bad knees and I've been up all day. I'd like to sit on the back.
No, we have to be safe. I understand you guys aren't happy about us being here, but we have a job to do.
Yeah, there we go. I don't care about all this walking, talking.
We're not here to question you.
You're not under arrest. You're not a suspect of anything.
We're trying to explain to you guys what's going on.
Oh, we know. We talk to my son every morning.
Oh, so you know he was doing
Let's just
something
stay down
illegal
here for
then,
a minute
huh?
Until they get the house cleared.
Oh,
here's the
that's the other
situation.
thing. Their
We have a
money
search
went to
warrant
their
signed by a
cripple
judge
ramps because they're
that allows
old.
us to look for firearms. Okay. And we're going to seize firearms from this residence because we have probable cause to believe that Troy has firearms in this residence.
Oh, not at all.
Okay, just shut up. They can
Okay.
go. They're not gonna. They don't believe us. Nobody's in there. You think you're gonna believe us that Troy has no firearms here?
Hey, can you hang out too?
I'm going this way.
Okay. After that, we need you to stay somewhere with us. Okay?
Need what?
Can you keep the 2 children occupied on the side for a few minutes?
Quick question. I want to
Sure.
know. Why do I take in our firearms?
Well, we have probable cause to believe that Troy has firearms over here.
But you don't. I
If
mean,
they're registered to us, you're gonna take them.
Well, we're going to take them to the lab and see if there's any DNA or fingerprints that belong to Troy on any firearms in this residence.
Okay.
So if there is some, and you would tell us about it now, we don't have to search the house and tear everything apart looking for anything.
There isn't.
What do you mean? Tell you what?
Well, how many firearms are in the residence?
Altogether, counting the 22.
Yeah.
I
Sure.
mean, we got the rifle, the shotgun, and
we put them all locked up because we had the kids here. We didn't want guns out when the kids were here.
Okay.
And that's it. We have the one you took. We have your 44.
Yeah. And
a shotgun and a 22.
Do you have any other firearms in this house?
How many's that for?
You're welcome to look. Just
Okay.
don't trash my house.
Well, we're going to search outbuildings, trailers,
Have at it.
everything.
Okay. Well, no, we have the guns because those kids are here. I got the shotgun, the 22, and a gun that doesn't even work in
That's
the
380.
2-horse trailer.
Okay.
It's locked up there.
Okay. Is there any other firearms here?
We answered that.
I'm
There
just
are no other firearms.
asking. I know you're not happy with the police
Okay,
and
but
about this whole
can I just
situation.
answer a question once? I mean, do I have to be?
Yeah.
I'm not unintelligent. I understand what you're saying to me. I
Okay.
answered.
And you have
what
to understand that people are dishonest with us all the time. So
Well, I'm
forgive
not.
us if we ask the
Guaranteed
question more
I'm
than
not
once.
dishonest.
Okay. Well, I
And
don't,
you're more than welcome to go search our house, but please don't trash it.
well, we don't want to.
There's no need to.
Okay. Let me ask you something. Did Troy bring firearms over here in the last 2 weeks?
No. No.
Okay.
I haven't even seen him that way. When
No,
I
he
seen him.
came over.
Well, I was shooting horses. So
Yeah.
I might have missed him.
He came over and helped me with something. I can't remember something I needed help with, and that's it.
Okay.
He rarely comes over here because he's working all the time.
Okay. All right. Well, let's have a seat up there on the
You'd
porch.
choose
if you guys don't mind,
horses?
and
You can
we'll
make a
let
lot of
you
money
guys take
doing that.
pictures, and then we'll grab the guns and we'll be on our way.
Maybe
After
they just
looking
don't
through his
spend their
mother's
money on
residence
this,
and seizing his
like
car
on their
as
property.
evidence, investigators bring in Troy's girlfriend Zalima and her children for interviews. To their utter dismay, though, there's still no sign of Naomi anywhere.
So we're gonna go to the second patrol car here, okay?
Are we like in trouble or something?
They have to blur her whole body out. Why?
Were you actually like in the shower?
She's
Yeah,
wearing
I
a
was,
dress.
But I had my phone was connected to the speaker, so I
Oh,
was
is
playing
that it?
music, and like I thought it was just me and my brother home, and I thought I heard a bunch of yelling, and I was like, let me check just in case, and I opened the door, and they were all standing outside the bathroom, and I was like, what the heck? And they were like, get on the ground.
Oh, she's in a towel. Okay, not a dress.
No, I'm just bored. No, I want my phone. Do you know how long it's gonna take? I have plans.
Am I really gonna get arrested right now? I'm really getting arrested right now.
That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
They might have money, but they just don't spend it.
I don't know if it's anything worth checking, but I cleared it. There was no.
I have no
visible
problem with
bodies.
that.
Yeah,
I would
nobody
love to
armed.
have a plot of land that large, even with a small house.
I understand that. We're going to have one of the investigators come speak with you right quick, okay? Yeah, they'll bring him back here, ma'am. Just wait back here, please.
Get over here.
Okay, just wait back here.
Get over here.
Reaction from
You can't
her that I
do that.
expected if she didn't know anything.
Correct. Was she angry?
Oh, yeah.
At us?
She's pissed about the whole thing.
Everyone involved with this seems fucking angry.
County Sheriff's Office.
Even the kids seem like they might know
Class
something's
we're
going
gonna talk
on.
to you about and explain to you everything that's going on, okay? Your legal name is Troy. And what's your last name?
Driver.
Driver?
Why am I here?
We're gonna get to it. Well, yeah, I'll explain to you. I gotta fill this thing out. Where do you work at right now?
I work at Leadcore, but
okay.
People just saw fit to pull guns on me and throw me on the ground in front of my office. So I'm probably not looking at a job. I really would like to know why I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll explain. How long have you worked at Lidcore?
2.5 years.
Okay. Where'd you get thrown on the ground at?
Didn't throw me on the ground. I was told to get on the ground in front of the office in Reno.
Reno. Okay, so you work like at Lidcore in Reno. Criminal record? Have you ever been arrested before?
Yes.
What's the worst thing you've been arrested for?
I was arrested when I was 17 for armed robberies.
Did you go to prison for that?
I did.
How long?
I'm surprised he has like an office job
California.
after
Damn.
armed
15
robbery.
years in prison in California?
Yep.
Do you need anything to eat or drink?
No, I want to get going here.
Okay. Can you tell me about any vehicles registered to you?
I have a Jeep, a 95 Jeep.
What color?
Black.
Okay. Is it like a
15
Wrangler,
years at 17?
Wrangler.
He's probably, how old they say he was? In his 50s or in his 40s?
3500 Silverado.
Chev 2020
Out at
Chevy
32.
3500? Yes. What color is that?
Gray. And I have a
This is probably what he spends all of his money on.
Lincoln Mark 7.
Has a
81 or 82.
couple shitty
What
cars.
color is that?
Black.
Okay. Are you currently on parole or probation?
And then that's probably leased is the thing. It's probably,
All right.
he probably
So,
got a fat
while we're
loan.
here, you understand you have the right to remain silent, and you understand that you have anything you say can will be used against you in the court of law. Do you understand you have the right to an attorney, and do you understand you cannot afford an attorney won't be appointed for you?
Okay.
Okay. You understand all that stuff?
I understand.
Okay. So have you been paying attention to the news lately, the last couple days?
Not really. I haven't been paying attention. Why?
Okay. Are you aware of the kidnapping case involving Naomi Irion?
Yes, I am.
Can you tell me about that?
My girlfriend sent me a Facebook thing on it, and I read that. She was kidnapped, and a truck that looked a lot like mine, they said they were looking for. Is that why I'm here?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, you said it, right? You have a truck that looks just like it.
Because I have a truck that looks like that. Am I being charged with this?
Yes. Yeah, you're being charged.
I want a lawyer.
Okay. All right.
No. I want a lawyer.
Troy Driver protests his innocence and invokes his right to a lawyer, blatantly refusing to speak with the investigators.
That's a creepy looking picture.
Still, they uncover that his girlfriend's family had a gathering on the weekend of Naomi's kidnapping. But Troy didn't attend as he said he was at work. To find out more about Troy's
perfect
absence
plan.
and his whereabouts, investigators interview
Why are they blurring out his girlfriend's picture when we just saw her on videotape?
Lima herself. When she's told about the seriousness of Troy's past crime in California, she shares that he and his mother
We know what she
described it
looks
to her
like.
as something much less serious. Investigators are hoping that Zulema can help
It's
them
like
finally
when
find.
it's like when the cops blur out the big signs on like gas stations and shit, but they tell you like the intersection of the streets where it's located, and it's just like, bro, it makes no sense.
Find Naomi, as at this point they still have no idea where she is, or even where to look. It's through this interview that they discover even more disturbing revelations.
But you know what? His mom stuck behind him after everything that he did in California. And he did tell me about that, kind of. I didn't know all the details. He never was, he just said, so they involved me and convicted me in murder. Like trying to separate himself from like the main thing. Yeah. And he's like, they involved me and people told on me and, people like, and that's why I was convicted.
So he was involved with a
And then
murder?
his mom,
Thought he was just burglarizing
she
stuff.
relocated and everything for him. And then, she like the same story, like, oh, like he's a great kid, but like he was just involved with the wrong people. Yeah. But then the more I remember like all the things like I told you that he says and laughs about, like, all the stuff that he has done. And then all the things that he used to tell me that he used to do when he was in prison too. And he's like, oh, you have no idea. I have painted in the blood of men, and it's like, yeah. And I was like, it's things that give you chills.
In
Yet you're
reality,
dating
Troy
him?
had an accessory to murder charge. When he was 17 in 1997, his girlfriend at the time shot and killed someone, and Troy pleaded guilty to helping dispose of the body. But this isn't the only disturbing case
Excuse
Troy
me?
was allegedly
Bro,
involved
it is 2024. Your boyfriend or significant other says, oh yeah, I was involved in a murder charge. You look that shit up. You look that shit up and you figure out what was going on. Because he wasn't just involved. He fucking got rid of a body.
in. In March 2021, a year before Naomi went missing, Troy was also a suspect in accusations of abuse and inappropriate touching involving his 16-year-old stepdaughter. While talking about the family gathering from the weekend of Naomi's kidnapping, Zalima explains that following the death of her son's child, she'd wanted her son and daughter-in-law to get a break from everything they'd gone through and had organized the big dinner to lift everyone's spirits. However, Troy had a different plan for them.
When Troy got home on Thursday night, he said, so tomorrow, he goes, so tomorrow, he's like, are we going camping? And then, because we had planned on going the weekend before that, but I can't remember what happened.
Right? A little more serious than just an armed robbery.
Couldn't go. And he's like, oh, but we've been talking about this for a couple of weeks. And then I go, I know. And then I go, but they're going through something. And then I go, and I want to be there for
15 years old, helped his girlfriend dispose of a body.
well, they can come too. And then I said, I don't think they're going to want to do that. And I go, they just, and I go, and then Travis is coming so he can spend time with Jose. And then he said, well, they can all come. Like, we can take everyone. And I go, yeah, this is like very short notice. I don't think so.
A day before Naomi's kidnapping, a deputy had visited their house to serve them with some paperwork regarding her son. And Zalima says that Troy had been quite rude to the officer.
And then she was walking over there to, talk to him, to give him the summons. And he lowered his window and she's like, Troy Driver. And she just went like this. And she's like, oh, here's the summons. And he started pulling up the window. Like, she was still talking to him and he started putting the window up. And then he opened the door and she just left. Like, he didn't even let her finish talking and she left. And then he got out of the car, out of the truck, and then he walked in and I was like, oh, and I go, sorry for the welcome home. And he's like, oh, it's fine. And then he just went to where we have our desk and he put his summons on top of mine and he went to the room without saying anything. I walked in and I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, he had a plastic bag of Boot Barn and he had already put a pair of insulated pants in there and he was getting something else and he was putting it in there. And I go, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm going camping, he said. And I was like, oh, and I was like, the kids are coming tomorrow. He's like, well, I'm going camping. And I was like, okay. I turned around and I got out of the room and I was a little bit upset that he would leave.
That's a huge red flag.
And because he's always has been so supportive and like with anything like that, he always wants to do whatever he can to make everyone feel like better or fix it for them or whatever. And the time it was just he didn't care.
Since Troy had presumably left for camping alone, he had no verifiable alibi. But that wasn't all. Zulema also shared a chilling story. The couple had a surveillance camera in their garage. Zulima's son had apparently boasted about catching a drink without spilling anything off the tailgate of the truck in their garage, and she'd reviewed the footage, but when she went to see it again, it had been erased. The only person who could have erased it was Troy. However, he'd forgotten to delete one clip when he returned from camping.
In that video, for some reason, he didn't delete it. It's right there. I was looking at it. He gets home at 7:55 on the 12th. Okay. exactly 7:55. Okay. And something that he never does, and I went through all the footage and everything. He has always told me that wherever we are, he never walks with his hands in his pockets because he says in prison, you always have to be ready for someone to attack you and to defend yourself. So he
To be
learned
fair, yeah,
not to,
honestly, you don't expect the
do that.
person you're with to murder someone.
He gets
But there's
out
some
of the
sketchy
truck
shit
and
still.
he's walking when he gets home, and he has this.
She wouldn't be in this situation though if he was upfront about what happened, or if she had just been smart. And if your significant other says they were involved with a murder charge, you always do your research because that's the ultimate red flag. Oh, you were involved with a murder charge and you went to prison for it? Okay, there's something more to that.
His hands in his pocket and his head is down. And when he gets in front of my Subaru, he starts turning and then he just goes like this. And he looks like really sad, really worried, like really, I've never seen him like that. Like his body language is like so, and you can see him when he's coming up. Oh, I'll show you if you want. When he's coming up the steps of the house, he looks like he's having trouble, like he's very tired.
But there was more. For the first time since they'd been together, Troy had showered by himself after returning home that weekend.
And then he got up and he said, I'm going to empty out the truck, all the camping gear. And I was like, it's Sunday. And I was like, we can leave that for later. We have all day, I told him. And then the next day, he didn't have to go to work because we were going to go to Alonso's court. And I was like, we have like all this time in the world. Like, and me and him, we watched a show together, a series, Walking Dead. Mm-hmm. And
Garbage.
we watch an episode in the morning and one before we go to sleep. And I told him, I go, let's watch an episode of Walking Dead. And he's like, no, I gotta clean out the truck.
Show's trash after season 8, and it's trash getting up to that too.
He forgets the keys, then he comes back, then he goes back, and
He changed too much of it.
The truck and whatever, but he doesn't take anything out. He doesn't do anything with it.
Soon after, Troy deleted all the videos that would have shown him cleaning the truck, something which left Zulema confused. When they'd recovered Troy's truck as evidence, they noticed that he suddenly had new tires, something that they asked Zulema about.
How long have you guys been talking about replacing the tires?
Oh, he didn't want them finding tire treads.
Okay.
He didn't like the tires.
So you guys have been talking about replacing the tires on both vehicles with your tax return shipment?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when it was time to do that, who called to ask about the truck tires? Did he call or did you call?
He called.
Okay.
He called.
So he called. He told you that he called down here.
He said he called, yeah. And
were you present when he called or no?
No, I had walked inside because he told me I'm gonna call and see if they have them. Because he wanted to do it right there. It was Friday when we came back from the dentist. It was around 3 something, and he replaced the tires. And that's another thing.
I'm gonna see what date that was. Friday.
Wild thing about the tire tread. It is, but I mean, he's trying to cover his tracks, you know.
All the videos too of him switching the tire with a spare. All of those are deleted too.
And yet another shocker, it had come to light that Troy had insisted on changing the tires after complaining that the truck had a flat one. But Zulema claims she never noticed that, despite driving the vehicle for the previous week. His claim wasn't helped by the fact that all
got him
videos
because
that would
the
have shown the flat tire had
spare.
been deleted.
They
This
didn't get rid of
pattern
the
deleting
spare,
videos
huh?
was
So the
certainly
treads were
alarming.
the same.
Troy was hiding something, but what exactly? Zulema had also revealed that Troy claimed Le Schwab,
Nice.
a tire-changing company's outlet in Fallon, near their home.
He didn't think about it. He's just like, just change the ones that are
but the one
on.
in Winnemucca did. He insisted on getting them replaced immediately, and they made the long trip, just under 2 hours, to Winnemucca for it. Eerily, Zulema wore a sweatshirt that day that read Serial Killer Documentaries and Chill, which represented Troy's obsession with crime and killers, something that would come up soon
That's
in
such
the
a
interview.
goofy jacket to be
With all of
wearing.
this suspicious behavior in mind, detectives finally bring the real reason they're all there.
Could
the
you
still
imagine?
missing Naomi and the hope
I
that
wonder if
Zulema
she's
can help
into
finally
like
find
true
her.
crime stuff.
So, how about when the media hit with this kidnapping? How close?
And this happens.
Not that close. I saw like 2 different posts, and out of the 2 different posts, the last one, the second one that I saw, I sent it to him because I think that's the one that had the picture of the truck. And I sent it through Messenger, and
Huh?
he didn't reply there.
You hate someone? What are you talking about?
Called me back actually. Because it was like 4 something, and he was leaving the office, and then he called me back, and then he's like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Oh, it's that girl that's missing." And apparently, I told him, and I go, "Did you see?" And I go, "It has a truck that looks like ours." And then like he's like, "No," he's like, I can't see it. I can't
Are you
look
talking
at
about
it because
her
I'm
like
driving."
doing this
So when
confession?
he got home, I opened the thing, the post, and I showed
I'm
him. I go,
confused.
"Look," and then because I had been driving the truck that week, I made the joke, and I'm like, "Did I kidnap this girl?" And he's like, "Don't be joking like that." He goes, "Don't even be saying that." And I was like, "Okay, I'm sorry."
Was it like a serious reaction?
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, sorry," you know. And then when I showed him the other
Oh
one,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
where
Like she
the
has
suspect is seen,
tons
you
of
know,
red
when he's
flags, it
walking
seems
back,
like.
and you can see his face that is black, and that's when he made that joke. He's like, "Oh, it looks like it's one of your people," and I was like, "Oh God, I hope not." And then I go, "Cause this is like really bad."
They never spoke about the kidnapping after this incident. Zulema shares that once
Like
the
the stuff with
pictures
his
of the truck
mom
had
and
started
stuff too.
circulating in
Like
the
just,
media,
I'm
she
sorry,
noticed
but
Troy had
I don't
become
think I
nervous
could
about
be in
driving
a
it and
relationship
had
with
asked
someone that
her
was
to drive
convicted on
instead.
a murder charge.
It seems like Troy may have gone to Winnemucca to replace the tires because of his fear of being identified.
Like I'm
in
understanding, but
connection
like
with the
that's just
circulating truck images. But
that's a
Zulema
hard one to
still
get
isn't
past.
quite done. She shares that Troy had a strange conversation with her stepdaughter. The stepdaughter works at an automobile company in USA Parkway and actually took the same bus route as Naomi.
How did that conversation go?
He was asking how is work going, how does she like it, and he's like, "Do you like better driving or taking the charter?" And she's like, she's like, "I would like better to be driving. I don't like being around people." She goes, he goes, "But it costs too much." She goes, "It's especially now." She goes, it costs too much." And she's like, and he's like, "Oh, is there like a lot of people?" And then, he had asked, "Do you guys have?" Because for some reason they leave the Panasonic charter parked there at
The
at the
bus
Safeway,
that she's
but
talking about.
the Tesla one, it drops them off and it goes back. But the Panasonic, they leave it there. Yeah. And then he goes, "So wait, do you take the Panasonic or you take a different one?" And she's like, "A different one." He's like, "It's just not there."
Did he ask anything else about him?
No.
Okay.
Or not that I can remember. I was
When did that conversation take place?
about a month ago, probably.
Okay.
It was evident now that Troy had been planning this for a while, but what kept nagging the investigators was that it still
She
wasn't
knew
clear
about
if
it.
Troy knew Naomi or how he would have come across her. The realization that the man she loves might have committed the heinous act overwhelms Zulema, and she breaks down.
She's realizing that she knew he was planning it. She knew about it. That's rough, dude.
There's some Kleenexes right there for you.
Why?
I imagine
And she's got 2 kids with someone else, which means she's probably sitting there thinking, she said, "Why me?" This is the second piece of shit she married, I'm guessing, and or maybe had kids. Well, we don't know if she was married to her previous partner, but this is the second piece of shit she's chosen at the very least.
Then went on to share a story about how she met Troy on the Ashley Madison website and it once again confirms detective suspicions of him.
Wait, what? She met Troy on Ashley Madison website. Ashley Madison is not a dating website. It is a website to have an affair. That's a big red flag right there. You shouldn't be dating those people seriously on those websites because it's not a dating website. It's a website to have an affair.
Madison website, and it once again confirms detective suspicions of him.
He asked me if I wanted to meet in person, and I said yes. And he told me that he was gonna stop at Taco Bell. And he asked me what I was
Chalupa.
driving, and then he told me that he was driving a Ledcore truck, and I met him there. And
that was where?
in Winnemucca.
Winnemucca.
In Winnemucca. And we drove out to Rose Creek.
To Rose Creek? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you know where that is, but it's outside of Winnemucca, and it's like the rural area, like that's where all the ranches are. We went out there where there was cattle was grazing out there, and there was a water trough, and we sat right there, and we were just talking, and then we went, like he wanted, we were just talking and getting to know each other, and then we went back to his truck, and he told me if I wanted to go to Lovelock with him, and we can go, I don't know, have dinner or whatever, because he was staying at the Royal Inn. That's where Ledcore employees stay all the time when they had the Relief Canyon project.
Okay.
The company put all the Ledcore employees there. We got into his truck, and when we got in, he told me, he's like, I could have killed you and no one would have known. And I thought it was a joke, and I was like, yeah, and I go, but you did it.
Bro,
so
no way.
And we left it off.
No fucking way. He probably thought she was a ride or die after that. He probably thought, oh, I could murder people and tell her.
No. You.
That is actually insane.
Hi. I hit it that time. You can see where I hit it.
Safety.
So these ones here, with the revolvers here, yeah, you still got more.
I had also heard from Joyner that
He's got a couple guns, huh?
he liked to listen to podcasts.
Yeah, right. If he didn't get caught here, he probably would have moved on.
Okay.
That, or he would have
What
just
type of
kept doing
audiobooks
it
do we
to
listen
different
to?
people until he got caught.
The serial killer ones.
And the psychology of lying.
They would have been his beard, dude. Cover family.
And the how to beat interrogations, like CIA.
He probably just finally snapped and was trying to find out a way to do this and keep doing it.
When the CIA or FBI are interrogating you, and how to spot people that are lying, like stuff like that.
Okay. Did you ever listen to any of them with him?
Yeah, I did. Like I was telling Detective Joyner, like that's something that even the kids, like, he would put the books, and the one that we actually listened to the whole book all together as a family was the one of Daniel Keyes.
Daniel Keyes?
Yeah, he's a serial killer
Israel
from Alaska. And he thought it was so cool that he kidnapped a girl, killed her, but he kept her in ice, and she was in such good condition and that she looked alive. And he would take pictures of her, and she looked alive. So he thought that was like really cool.
That.
Do you remember
why?
about that
How?
one where
That's
there was,
not cool.
Money involved or anything like that?
Yeah, like he wanted ransom.
Ransom?
Like, yeah,
Okay.
and then he post that girl in a way like she was holding a newspaper. And
But she's
took the
dead the
picture
whole
and did
time?
her makeup and everything, and that's what he thought, that it was so cool that the girl actually looked alive. He went online trying to find the picture so he can show us, but I didn't want to look at it, and the kids didn't want to look at it either.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, I was like,
That's weird.
look
He
at her.
wanted
She
to
doesn't look
show that.
scary. She's alive. It's really cool. This guy was really smart.
As she continues to share more concerning details about Troy's behavior, police finally get an idea about how Troy may have seen Naomi.
When
She
he
was his
worked
cover,
in
dude. That's
Utah,
it.
he stayed out there for a while. He had a couple of women that he was with out there.
Okay. Did he ever say who they were or anything like that? Or
No.
I don't know about social media. Did he ever have them on social media?
So,
Not that I know
do you
of.
think it's possible he was
Not that I
doing
know of,
this
but he did tell
in
me
Utah?
that he met them on Ashley Madison, that one where I met him, that one website, and he told me that he had met a bunch right there. I don't know that he went out with all of them, or he didn't tell me, but he did say that the two in Utah, he met them there.
Okay.
Now when we met, and then he, we actually started getting serious. After I met him, like I think a month after I met him, I deleted completely my Ashley Madison account.
Okay.
And I learned about that from my cousin in California and my sister. They told me about that. And then when I got separated, that's why I got into that app. And then my cousin and my sister were still on it. And I was with him for about 6 or 8 more months after. And my I don't know if it was my sister or my cousin, they sent me a screenshot of him still being on the app.
Now, did it show if he was active on the map? Or
It
just...
did. It did. And I asked him about it, and I go, why? Because we had said that we were going to be exclusive. And he told me, yeah, that was it. And I asked him, why did he still have the app? And he said, it was just for fun. He said it was fun to see the kind of women that wanted to be.
It bothers me when people say this shit. You have a dating app on your phone for a specific reason. We all know the reason you have the dating app on your phone is to get in contact with someone that you want to fucking get with, I have friends that are like, oh yeah, I have Tinder, I have Bumble, or whatever it is on my phone, And they're like, but I don't actually use it. I only use it to scroll through and look at all the desperate people and laugh at them. But you know what? Every single person that I've ever, had that conversation with, which is more than I can count on one hand, they've all had horribly toxic relationships, all started from these dating apps, and they refuse to admit that that they use them. They just say, oh no, it's just a joke. I just laugh at all these freaks. And it's just like, well, you're dating those freaks. It's not Instagram, it's not TikTok. You wanna scroll through some stuff? Go fucking get the right app, not the dating app. We know you're scrolling to scroll and not to laugh.
Responding like it's just for fun.
Troy
It's just
Driver's
for
profile
fun.
was active on dating apps. The detectives already knew that Naomi used dating apps to meet new people. Perhaps this was how Troy came to know who Naomi was. As the detectives
Probably.
question Zulema further to understand
That's most
Troy's
likely it.
disturbing interests, they find even more reason to believe he's involved in Naomi's kidnapping.
Did he ever talk about if he would have done something, how he would do it?
Oh my God. When I lived in Winnemucca, I had 2 clients that I used to clean their houses for. Those were the clients that I had for the longest time. I cleaned their houses for almost 7 years.
Nice.
The mom's name is...
Is that an Apple Watch?
She owns a... in Winnemucca, double check. And her daughter is... And her and her husband, they owned a...
I've been thinking about getting one lately. Because I hate having to pull my phone out to check messages.
She committed. this past December.
But I feel like you get too many messages
Her
during the
mom,
day.
my boss, she
It would
believes
just end up
that
dying.
he killed her because he asked her for a divorce.
You think she should get charged for not noticing?
My divorce, had
Well,
told
you
me,
know, so like, I
"Get
think
your
it's, I think in some certain cases, like, you remember when The Dark Knight came out and the dude went and shot up that theater? Well, his mom knew he was planning to do it. Knew he was making, you know, like weapons at their house. Knew he was stockpiling bullets and writing a manifesto and stuff. And she didn't report it. She didn't report it at all or anything like that. And they did nothing to her. You know, they just went and interviewed her afterwards. And she's just like, yeah, I knew all about this. I just didn't do anything. And she's like, well, you know what? You're a piece of shit.
your part, like get your half." And so I was very upset when they said that she committed suicide. When I called her mom and she
I feel like if she decided to leave him, he would have killed her and probably her family or something, you know? I feel like he got comfortable with her after that story, you know, where he's like, "Oh, I could have murdered you, but I didn't." And then he's like, "You know, I'm not going to do it. But if she ever, you know, crosses me, I will."
told me, "No, I think killed her because she was gonna get half of the business, and he didn't want to share the business." And then
That
she
kid's
started
got
telling me how
kids' parents got 10 to
was telling her
15.
that she was scared. And
Well, yeah,
gave
it's
her
good.
different type of
I mean,
documents about how she was
that's more
found
recent.
and
The one I'm
everything.
talking about is older,
He
and
told
that
me,
lady was like 80, so that's probably why they
if
didn't
that was
pursue
me,
anything. But
I would have done the same thing. And I can tell you that he's not gonna get arrested. And he's like, because they're not.
yeah, he
You
would
know,
have definitely killed
because I
her. I
would have
don't
done
think
the
that's a
same thing.
probability. It's
So
a
that is the
definite.
only time that he has told me, and that upset me. And I was like, don't tell me that.
Before the interview wraps up,
Wait,
Zulema
hold on. I'm
shares.
sorry. What did she say?
You know, because I would have done the same thing. And he's like, I would have done the same about how she was found and everything. And he told me, if that was me,
Oh, okay. He's saying if he was the
I
killer, he would have done the same
And
thing.
I can tell you that he's not gonna get arrested. And he's like, because they're not. You know, because I would have done the same thing. So that is the only time that he has told me, and that upset me. And I was like, don't
Yeah, that'd be
tell me
really
that.
bothersome,
Before
dude.
the interview wraps up, Zulema shares one last
Having
damning
like your
detail.
significant other talk
The
to you like
camping gear
that.
was unused from the weekend Troy had apparently left for camping alone.
There's
The
a difference
same
about
weekend
talking
Naomi
about
went
something
missing.
someone did and
And when
saying
we
that
were in
if you
California,
were in his
the ones
position,
in
you'd do the
California,
same thing.
there was one that we went 1,000 feet underground. And that one, he said, like, my God, you can hide a body here and no one will ever find it.
While every lead reinforces their suspicions against Troy, none of it leads them to Naomi Arian. It's now over 2 weeks since Naomi was last seen, and the situation soon evolves into a desperate
And she's still alive because we heard a
time.
message from her. So this dude
In a
held
bid
her
to gather
hostage
any
for more than
information
2
that could lead
weeks.
to Naomi, Troy Driver's arrest is released to the media in the hopes this will urge any witnesses
Or she was
to come
hidden
forward.
while he was.
Soon
Does he have
after,
a fucking like bite taken out of his ear? Wonder what happened there. Mike Tyson got him.
This will urge any witnesses to come forward. Soon after, the investigators start receiving tips from several
They're saying
callers.
that shit's not normal,
They
exactly.
receive a call from a woman informing them that a man resembling Troy Driver allegedly followed her to the same Walmart parking lot a month earlier. The woman said that she was walking her dogs near a highway outside of Fernley in February when she noticed a car pull up next to hers off the road in the dirt. The driver then tailed her car to a Walmart. If this was Troy, then it established a disturbing pattern of behavior for him. They also receive a call from an employee at the Relief Canyon mine who had been a co-worker of Troy Driver.
So he's
He
been
informs them that a
lurking
month
on
before
multiple
Naomi
people.
was taken, a heavy equipment delivery driver arrived at the mine with an excavator that was requested by Troy Driver. This employee spoke with Troy and noted down the address where he wanted the excavator to be delivered. This address was about 16 miles away and led to the Buena Vista iron mine. The investigators pay a visit to the mine, diligently tracing the excavator's path, which ultimately leads them to an unsettling discovery: a shallow, unmarked grave.
Oh, so she did die. How'd they get that message footage? Or the what? I'm so confused because it was like she was answering a question. This is ominous. And they caught him because he decided to use his own vehicles. Thank God for dum-dums. I love that he was comparing himself to the serial killers, saying he'd do the exact same thing and then gets caught immediately.
On March 29th, over 2 weeks since Naomi's kidnapping, the hollow grave is exhumed and human remains are found. 2 days following this grim revelation, the medical examiners identify the remains as Naomi Irian.
And why did he
Initial
need the
findings
excavator?
From the autopsy suggest that Naomi was shot in the back of her head and subsequently shot in the chest after her body had been moved into the grave. An autopsy revealed that she had also been assaulted. The tire impressions discovered at the scene aligned with the set of tires on Troy Driver's truck, the ones he had before they were replaced. And yet another shocker, numerous witnesses come forward
she
to
had a
attest
daughter,
that they had seen
the
Troy
chick
Driver
that he
operating
was
an
with.
excavator in the mine's remote vicinity all by himself about a month before the kidnapping. Chat records from Zulima's phone throws more light on this appalling twist. This revelation that Troy discussed the excavator with Zulima solidifies the fact that the crime was premeditated, with Troy having orchestrated every detail a month in advance. It's unclear how much Troy told Zulima, beyond the fact that he needed the excavator, and it's unknown if she knew why. Yet Troy Driver didn't know Naomi Irian. Instead, it seemed that he had meticulously plotted his crime and was actively searching for his victim. Investigators reason that he might have selectively targeted certain individuals and tracked their routines to gain knowledge about them. This theory held merit, especially considering that he'd arrived just a few minutes before Naomi on the morning he kidnapped and killed her. In the following weeks, detectives collaborate closely with Zulima to collect evidence against Troy.
That's
Despite
crazy,
still grappling
dude.
with
Because
shock and the
that means
dramatic
he
upheaval
just
in her life,
literally went
Zulima assists the
and hung
investigation to
out
the
in a
best of her
parking
ability.
lot
During one of their meetings at her
actively
home,
for like
Troy
hours
calls
at
her,
a time,
unaware that the detectives are listening in on the conversation.
if not like multiple
And I don't know
days.
if you can respond to me, but are you being honest with me? It's like I've been going through the past 2 weeks, 3 a month. What?
So, baby, these calls are recorded. They're going to portray me as guilty, and I'm never going to get out of prison.
I mean, how can you say that? Like, if you're innocent, like, I'm pretty sure it could be proven.
You are what I have for strength right now. Hearing you say that you don't know whether or not I love you, that's really difficult.
Well, I am sorry. It is really difficult to be hearing all the stuff that they're saying about you, everything that I am remembering about you. And I want you to know that they've been asking me to talk to them, and I'm sorry, but I am going to talk to them about everything that I have experienced with you. Okay?
You see her shirt? Ever make mistakes in life? Question mark. Oh, it's Bob Ross. Oh.
In April 2022, Troy Driver was charged with murder, robbery, vehicle burglary, and destruction of evidence.
Yo. His prison husband made him get a fucking bra tattooed on his tits, bro. Can you believe that? Jesus Christ. They made him get a fucking bikini.
It was confirmed that his DNA was found on and inside of Naomi. He was additionally charged with assault. Further investigation proved that after assaulting and killing Naomi, Troy had burned her clothes, some of his own clothing, and other pieces of evidence. The case doesn't
I
end
don't
here,
understand
though.
that. Why
About 4 months
why
later, Troy
would you
carefully
need to
snuck a
assault
letter
some
out of prison to
stranger
his
like
now
this
ex-girlfriend Zalima and her
if you're in
children,
a loving
hidden inside a
relationship
deck
with
of
another,
cards.
like a fucking
Allegedly,
woman,
in the
you know?
note, he admitted to all the allegations against him and stated things like, "There's always been a terrible darkness inside me. Neither this situation nor any other was sexually motivated. Something happened that I can neither justify nor explain."
It's hard to believe after
And
what
even more
happened.
chillingly, quote, "The guilt is crushing. I didn't know anything about her until it was too late." He also stated in the letter that he wanted to end his life. Troy Driver was put on a watch, though he still made 2 attempts. Finally, on August 6,
Oh,
2023,
woe
Troy
was
Driver made a
me.
3rd attempt and succeeded. Casey Valley and his mother,
Fucking
Diana
pussy.
Irian, both shared with us how they felt about the conclusion of Naomi's case.
To me, the trial was, in some ways, it would have been some closure. In some ways, it would have been some vindication. In some ways, it would have
Yeah,
been,
he needed to get life in prison.
closure for the community. But at the same time, I did not relish the thought of dragging my whole family, especially my mother, through
Oh,
that.
I can only imagine that would be
As far
horrible.
as I'm concerned, I'm glad he's dead. I'm glad he's never going to hurt anybody ever again.
That's
I'm
the
glad
only
he's never going to feel
bright side of it all.
any gratification of any kind ever again. I really hope that if there is any other cases that Driver was connected to, whether there was or there wasn't, I do believe that he would have kept doing this.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a net good, even though we didn't get that. I don't even want to say satisfaction. It's more like a tiny bit of closure just to hear the gavel come down on guilty. But at the end of the day, it does erode my faith in the current system in some